So you want to play Marauder? I'm HangEight, and this is the beginner's guide to Marauder in Hypixel Smash Heroes. When selecting Marauder, he's the 6th character in the Emerald shop, and he's the character farthest to the right on the second row of characters in the lobby. Marauder's left-click primary is his jab, which will do 5 damage. His right-click is lightning, which will do 8 damage. Marauder's secondary is grip, which when you use will lock on to enemies that you are facing, do 3 damage and then 2 damage sequentially as they get pulled towards you. Marauder's passive is force jump. You have 2 regular double jumps, but after the second one, every 50 energy will be used up to grant you another double jump. So as you can see, you use 1, 2, then 50 energy, as such. These function as regular double jumps. They don't have any more vertical or horizontal distance or height. Marauder's ultimate is Unleashed Energy. When activated, this will halve the amount of energy all your abilities consume, and it will halve the damage that you take. Speaking of which, let's talk about energy. For your lightning, which is your right click, this takes 40 energy to be used. Your grip takes 80 energy to be used. And as mentioned, your force jump uses 50 energy. Now you may think, wow, those are pretty high. There's a remedy for this. Every single one of your jabs that you hit will grant you 10 more energy. So if I were to use my lightnings, I would have to wait until I have 40 energy again to use a third one. See the distance between the second and the third? But for every single jab that I hit, it'll recuperate 10 energy. If I go like this, and then hit a jab, I already have that much energy left. And even if I were to go like that, and bleep him out of existence. So even if I were to use my lightnings, you can see how every time I hit a jab, there's a big chunk of energy that fills up. With Mara, it is very important to be jabbing all the time because you want as much energy as possible to be able to use your abilities effectively. New discovery, actually. His grip still uses 80 energy even in the ult. I never knew this, even in my entire Master's King grind, so what the frick, Hypixel. So as you see, when I use my ultimate, my abilities will only use half of the energy that they normally would, except for grip. Grip will still use 80 energy, so don't be too hasty with your grip. But your energy also recharges faster as well, so you will get more over time along with the amount that charges up from your jabs and the 50% less that is used from your lightnings, and if you're using your force jump. See how often I was able to get those lightnings off? That's using the regeneration from the ult, and as well as the regeneration from the jabs. An important thing with Mara is you always want to prioritize using your lightnings over your grip. Your grip only does 5 damage total, and it uses 80 energy. Now, it does move the player around, but this is not a good trade-off for the amount of raw damage and knockback that your lightning can give. So say if I'm gonna play against this person, I'm gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna wait, and then I'm gonna spam grip again, and like yeah, you get to pull players around, but this is not an effective way to play Mara. Now grip can be used really well to pull players off the map. If someone's trying to run away, you can pull them back, but only use it in situations that really need it. In any other situation, you always want to use your lightning because your lightnings will do so much more damage, and that's what Mara is all about, doing high damage and keeping away from your enemies when your energy is low and jabbing them to get your energy back up. So with those 2 grips, I only did what, 10 damage? And it took time for those to recharge. But if I were to use my lightnings, look at that. All the way down to 4 from 30 in what, 2 seconds? That's the power of Mara and his lightnings. You can get 2, if you're at full energy, you can get 2 lightnings off and a jab to get even a third one really fast. Like what the frick? That is a lot of damage. Now, you may have noticed that Mara does not have much mobility. He only has the 2 double jumps and then the force jumps as well for every 50 energy. You don't have dashes or teleport moves or anything special like that. Now, this is one of Mara's biggest weakness, is getting knocked off the map and edge guarded because he does not have very much to be able to support himself. So as Mara, you do not want to be double jumping and using your force jumps wildly. You only really want to use your force jumps when you're seriously attacking somebody, or when you're using your ult, or when you're trying to desperately get back onto the map. If I were to be fighting him, I don't want to be jumping around all crazy because 1, I'm a lot easier to hit and juggle, and 2, it's harder for me to even hit as I'm flying around and I'm using all this energy with my force jumps. You want your energy for your lightnings. So you always really want to stay on the ground and be hitting people up, hitting people away, and even sometimes if someone's coming after you, you can do a quick double jump away like this, but I would never recommend using your force jumps if the situation you're in is not dire or you're not using your ult. The only one of Mara's abilities that has an actual cooldown is his ult, which when activated or at the start of the game will take 90 seconds, and because he's a melee character, every jab you hit will reduce the cooldown by 3 seconds. But the rest of his abilities, as mentioned, are all based on his energy, which, if you didn't already know, is your XP bar just above your hotbar. There are a couple of common combos or attacks that I like to use with Mara that I always find are reliable and effective. The first one is simply just a grip while jabbing and then a lightning right after, and to kind of send them away. So you pull them in, do damage, and then send them back with the knockback from the lightning. So if I were to be fighting him, I'm going to grip and use the lightning to knock him back. And if he's going to come after me, then I'm going to grip, use the lightning, and send him way over there. And look how much space is between us and how much time I have for my energy to charge up. Spacing is very key with Mara because you may not always have all your energy, and if you don't have very much energy, then you're pretty much powerless. None of your abilities can be used if you don't have the right amount of energy. So you always want to be mindful of how much energy you have in case you're playing close to the void or in case someone's coming after you and you have nothing. Another great thing about Mara is that he's super fun and easy to juggle people with. If this guy, I can send him up into the sky, boom like that, and he's done. Even if you have someone who's on a higher health, your lightnings will charge up fast enough, as well as your grips, for you to be sending people way up into the sky, and as they come down, you can get under them and lightning them to send them right back up again. So when we're fighting, and then say if he's going to jump in the air, I can lightning him up, and basically just repeat this process over and over again, and send him packing, flying off the map. And look, he was already at 0. And I didn't use grip a single time because I didn't need to. If you don't need to use grip, do not use it. Your lightnings are going to be way more effective for juggling, edge guarding, and just pure damage. You do not want to be prioritizing your grip over Mara. If you haven't noticed, that is probably one of the most fundamental aspects of playing him, because it's not really something you want to be doing. You can pull off some really cool stunts with it. And another thing about grip is if someone's at 0, or if someone is at 2 health, then you can kill confirm. You don't have to do anything, they don't even have to be close to you. Just look at him and use it. I may have just talked about how using your grip very rarely is a good thing, but if your character is seriously struggling, there's also some really cool things that you can pull off with grip. Say, if someone's going to be walking over to me, or if he's going to jump in the air, I can go like this. Pull him down into the void from under me, and then use my double jumps to win the game. Grip can be used to move around players and manipulate them, so you can toss them off the map, and then you can do a lot of other cool things as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next time when we're gonna talk about tune in next time for when we're gonna talk about Spooderman and how to shoot your web at people's faces. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.